So I told you in a past segment that, Lord help me, I've gone down a Roseanne Barr rabbit hole, which is a scary place to be. And I'm trying to crawl myself out of it. But as long as I'm there, let me do one more Roseanne Barr interview segment with Tucker Carlson. So we looked at hers with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That was scary. And then something else with her on Piers Morgan. That's what it was. Now I have for you her and Tucker Carlson a few months ago. And it gets weird. So weird that Tucker seems uncomfortable, as happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene. But for those of you who don't know Roseanne Barr, apparently she was quite the figure back in the day. And then has become a different type of figure, a MAGA celebrity. And she's defined as a comedian, which I'm waiting to giggle when she's talking, except for giggling so I don't cry at the craziness of what she's saying. But as an introduction before getting to this interview, here was her, my favorite clip of her, being absolutely bonkers on stage at the Turning Point USA event a little while ago.
If we don't stop these horrible communists, do you hear me?
I want you to hear me.
I'm asking you to hear me. Stalinist, communists.
You said that already.
With a huge helping of Nazi fascists thrown in. Plus, wanting a caliphate.
And the crowd goes silent. It's just too priceless. When you out crazy the Turning Point crowd, you're off the rails. If you appreciate watching this show and you're not already subscribed, please click that subscribe button. Easy, free, but it makes a huge difference. Back to the video. But here is this interview. And what's interesting about this being from a little while ago is that Tucker said something that now we can see if it's true, because it was sort of, I'm going to do this if this happens in the future. And the thing happened in the future. We'll see if he's done that thing. But before we get to that, I want to show you Roseanne Barr making Tucker Carlson uncomfortable, which is a tough thing to do. Normally goes the other way.
Horrible.
Dark.
No, I'm way darker.
As well as the right podcast.
Because I said, well, you know what they're doing is that they're grinding that up with the Planned Parenthood fetus meat and selling it to Bill Gates for his new meat. I swear they are.
That may be right.
They're going to be selling it at McDonald's, the new fetus burgers.
I've got bad eating habits, but I'm not eating there.
No.
I'm telling you, it's going to be fetus burgers wall to wall. That's what it is.
I wouldn't put
mixed in with bugs.
Cricket powder for the WEF.
Oh, it's disgusting.
As long as they don't put it in Fig Newtons, I'll be safe.
I love Fig Newtons.
I do too.
We were going to talk about smoking. I want to go on there. How much do you...
Yeah, so, he's more of a Fig Newton guy, apparently. But Roseanne Barr, also in the MTG interview, think about how just crazy these people are. They're going to put fetus meat in Big Macs? Roseanne, let's unplug the microphone, flip off the camera, and let's stop putting this stuff out in public. It's a little bit too cray. But Tucker, similar to MTG's reaction, didn't really know what to say to that other than, yeah, maybe the left's so crazy they'll do that. No, okay? You've called us groomers. You've called us vermin. You're pretending like we want to assassinate Trump. You've called us everything under the sun. You don't get to randomly say that we're eating fetuses. Feti? Fetuses. I don't know. And I refuse to let you. No. All right, next one.
They were pushing, and then they blame Trump for him.
No.
It's like the rape victim, and they humiliate her. That's why I said they treat Trump like a woman
I know.
in the press because it's a rape victim that they harass, set up, frame, and then refused to. He doesn't even get a jury in that Letitia James trial.
I know.
So that's like it's a witch burning. It's not. He says witch hunt, but it's a witch burning. And he's not allowed. He's under gag order to say this is bullshit, which everybody knows it is. There's not even. It's not even a law case. It's lawfare gone mad, which the whole Democrat Party is just lawfare gone mad. Lawyers that
Whatever
can't
it
get a
takes.
job anywhere else but for corporations. And it gets me because there's nothing less democratic than a corporation.
Right.
For God's sake.
I have noticed that.
Yeah.
I would never work for one again, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I finally nailed it. That was perfect. What? There's nothing more democratic than a corporation. I don't even know what point she's making, but you know what's interesting? So first, the point about Trump didn't get a jury in the civil fraud case, maybe she's referring to, but as we've gone through, they didn't opt for one and didn't request having one. And also, when they pretend like that's proof that it's unfair, then he gets a jury, and that's still not enough. In his criminal trials, obviously he's getting a jury, and the one he was convicted in, he got a jury. So that's not it. But imagine that. She says he's treated like a woman, which by itself is a troubling statement, but I think she's meaning a female rape victim. He's like the victim of a rape. Yeah, like let's use an example. Oh, maybe like the victim that he raped. Sort of a weird comparison to make, right? When the person you're saying is the victim is actually the victimizer as adjudicated in a civil trial. But this is the victimhood complex of MAGA. Trump's accountability is like him being treated as a rape victim is. Sick stuff. Then we get more to Tucker's thoughts on everything.
But I'm a voyeur.
Yeah.
But I became an active Trump supporter when they raided Mar-a-Lago last summer, the summer of 2022. That can't stand.
No, that can't.
And
that was something.
Agree with Trump on a lot. But even if I disagreed with Trump on a lot, I'd still be a Trump supporter because you cannot allow that. You cannot allow the regime, the president of the United States, to use the Justice Department to knock the front runner out of the race. You can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
So it's bigger than Trump. It's bigger than Biden. It's a question of, do you want to live in a free country with a functioning justice system?
That's exactly
And
right.
so I'm voting for Trump. And if they convict him, I will send him the max donations and I will lead protests. That's how I feel.
That's how I feel.
Because, and by the way,
So this was before Trump was convicted. I haven't heard of Tucker Carlson donating the max, to Donald Trump. And I haven't seen him lead any protests. He was lying to us. Tucker, I needed you. I needed you to show your support for Trump. It was what was going to get me through the day. So it's true. It would be horrific and anti-democratic for a president to force their Justice Department to go after their political opponent. Good thing that's not what Biden's doing. And they've been able to bring forward zero evidence to the contrary. But really what they mean is Trump being prosecuted at all is wrong. And I'll keep saying, it's interesting that the prosecutors they find to be corrupt just have so much evidence that seems incriminating. And seemed so incriminating in the first case that Trump was convicted to a jury. But the side saying the greatest conspiracy to go after a political opponent in American history is taking place right now haven't gotten a little tiny bit of evidence to prove that. Maybe the side with all the evidence of the criminality is the side in the correct side of this argument right now.
that's how I feel.
That's how I feel.
Because, and by the way, if I thought that he had committed some real crime, I wouldn't feel that way, but he didn't. He and Biden are both found with classified documents at home, along with every other former high-level federal official in history, but only Trump is indicted.
Wrong? Why does he say stuff like that? In history?
Like, tell me how that works. Oh, shut up. Okay.
And Biden is the one
Oh, shut up.
who did it illegally because he was never president when he did it.
Do you think Dick Cheney brought home any classified Iraq war documents and showed them to his wife in 2003? Yes is the answer. and the FBI didn't, put bugs in his house and didn't. I mean, look, I spent my life in Washington. I spent 35 years there from 1985 to 2020.
All right, don't really care about his life story, but I guess we should address, even though we've done it so many times, it's true that Pence had classified documents at his house. Biden had classified documents at his house. Trump had classified documents at his house. And it's also true that Pence returned them immediately. And for that, he was not charged criminally. Biden returned them when he came across them. And for that, he was not criminally charged. Trump returned 15 boxes of documents voluntarily. And for that, he was not criminally charged. And then Trump, after that, repeatedly lied to authorities, obstructed an investigation, held on to the documents despite knowledge, evidence of his own knowledge. He knew he was breaking the law and keeping them, and then refused over and over and over again to give them back, forcing federal authorities to take them back by force. And that's the person being criminally charged. That actually makes a whole lot of sense. I agree. You should do everything not to have classified documents in all sorts of unsafe places. But if someone does accidentally do that and then discovers that they have them and gives them back to federal authorities, especially in the position that Pence, Biden, and Trump were in, there is leniency there. There just is in the law. There's not leniency. You give up that whenever you start obstructing an investigation. You knowingly break the law and you actively direct people to keep the documents out of the hands of federal authorities. Them pretending like they don't get the difference just proves they don't actually have a solid argument.
Hatred of the truth? Why would you hate the truth? Sometimes the truth is inconvenient. If you catch me cheating on my wife, I don't want you to tell the truth about it.
Right.
Of course, I get it.
Yeah.
But I would never even think to take pleasure in telling a lie for its own sake. I'm not angry when you tell the truth, as long as it doesn't expose my, weaknesses, or as long as I'm not hurt by it. They hate the truth because it's true.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly
100% of the people punished in the last 5 years in the public conversation have been punished for telling the truth, not for lying. Yeah. And they don't even pretend otherwise. They don't call it lying anymore. They call it disinformation.
Yeah, that's what they
The thing about disinformation is it can be true,
Right.
but it's still verboten. How does that work?
Because it's the kingdom of lies. Like,
It is a
think
kingdom
about
of lies.
all
That
these-
is exactly
Think about
right.
all these physicians that go, I can't even.
Okay. I'm taking a moment before I respond as I attempt to sort through what I'm feeling in this moment. Part of it is I feel bummed out that this is a real thing. This is not a comedy sketch. This is real life. And Tucker is still very, influential. He has a successful-ish podcast, I think. But he used to be the most influential in sort of the cable news world. One of the most influential people in politics. And he just doesn't seem to be compelling, right, in his nonsense. There are people that I watch and I go, this is so wrong, but I can see how their rhetorical efficacy is causing people to believe them. What does that even mean? Why do they think that they're so onto something when they go, they have stopped using the term lie, now they say disinformation? Oh, what are they up to? Who's they? Are you just talking about the common lingo in the media? What are you talking about? Because disinformation, by its very nature, by definition, is inaccurate. So this whole disinformation can be true? No. That's just, say it with me now, information. Okay? Disinformation is true, and it's not true, and it's intentionally inaccurate. And so that's just a nonsense point. And they call them lies too. But we call you liars all the time. But the weird way that everyone in this room just goes, yes. I did not think of that. They don't even say lie anymore. They say disinformation. You're onto something, Tucker. No, he's not. He's just thinking of random words to throw into a random sequence. And for some reason, people find it interesting. So there it is, Tucker, on Roseanne Barr's podcast. If people find this interesting, compelling, and inspiring, we're in a rough place in the United States. And I say that knowing how many incredible things are going on in the United States, but a portion of our political conversation is messed up. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. If you want to support, if you're thinking, I like this, and the incredible team that makes it possible, if you want to support the work that we are doing, you can do so by clicking the join button below, and that also gets you members-only content.